What's going down? We're back to the Jose Morales podcast at the Jose Morales Boxing Academy, and joining me in the ring today is Levi Knox.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thank you so much for having me today here, Coach.
No problem. Hey, keep the mic close to you. Levi is actually first time on a podcast, and he needs. You're gonna hear that he's probably the most professional, more respected, but like well carried person that I probably know at his age, man. And there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about him and just get everyone familiar with him. People were asking me about you, believe it or not. A lot of people asked me about you. So he's finally here. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about the previous episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed them. We talked about, actually, Levi was just talking about the last episode with Kelly about the whole 3 accounts and her financial advice. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. This episode, we're going to be talking about Levi. And one thing that people ask me a lot, and they probably asked you, Levi, and I answered it for him, but I thought it'd be perfect for Levi to answer it, was where does Levi come from as far as James? They saw you, they're like, wait, his name is James Knox? Well, who's Levi? Da, 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 da. So he explained it to me, but I'll let him answer it now. So who's James and where's Levi come from?
So I was actually named after my father, James. The reason I like to go by Levi is just growing up, I feel like my dad, just his name and everything, had a lot of expectations. Whether I didn't know whether I would be able to live up to it or if I even wanted to live up to those expectations. So to be honest, I felt the first path, first way to start my own path was to go by my own name. So I decided to start going by my first name or my middle name, Levi. And I know that's something I put a lot of thought into it, but I was like, I don't know, 5 when I started going by Levi. So looking back, I'm glad I made that decision. But
so at 5 years old, you came up with this idea, or someone else, or did like your mom or something? It was your idea. You said I want to go by Levi.
I like to say it's my idea, but it was probably my sister. Someone just started calling me Levi, and it stuck.
Yeah, a lot of people asked me, and I'm like, you know what? It sounds a lot better. And actually, with you, the way you explain it right there sounds a whole lot better than I would have explained it for sure. So one thing, there's a lot of things about Levi that really stick out to me, as far as like the way you carry yourself, how respected you are, like your mannerism. And, but one thing that to me was very shocking when I found out, not shocking. There you go. Not shocking. It was very, what's the word I need? What I'm looking for? It was very interesting because the way this guy accomplished so much and he knows so much, but he acts like he doesn't know nothing. He acts like just a regular human being. Where I've had people that come from other gyms or that I just met that I've done so much in life, and you can tell just simply by talking to them because of how they talk. They seem very confident or cocky, and my man Levi here is not like that at all. Where did that come from to you? Like, how did that? Is it the way you were raised, or what is it that you're very just chill mode?
So I'll talk a lot about my older sister, but she did a great job of humbling me. I guess the way I say that is she was always the first one to smack me upside the head, quite literally smack me upside the head if I was ever getting too big for myself, I guess. So she was a big role in teaching me humility. And just as I got older, and the more confident I felt in myself, the less I felt I needed to talk or like kind of raise myself up. I felt like my actions would kind of do that for me. Exactly. So I didn't see a reason to say like, hey, I'm all this, I'm the shit. Hey, look at me do this. It's just, you would notice just by knowing me.
Yep. Hey, I like that. So when he came in, he already had boxing experience, but we all thought he just boxed like occasionally, like as a hobby, but this guy actually already competed. And when I saw him spar the first time he sparred, I'm assuming it was his first time sparring. So I'm over here putting him in the ring with people that are first time boxing, like first time sparring, just light stuff. And then Levi's over here kicking their ass. I'm like, wait, what the hell? Where'd this guy come from? And then he's like, man, I've been in I actually competed before, but he never acted that way. So that's where that came from. And the other one is that the other thing that is very, you don't show it off, and when people bring it up, they make sure they highlight it, is the fact that you went to the academy, Air Force Academy. Talk about the school. What school is it, and what the school is like? Because I'm not going to be able to explain it the way you can.
So the Air Force Academy is just a school for anyone who wants to go into the Air Force and become an officer. Pretty much what it is it's 4 years of free college. The whole time you're there, you're getting a bachelor degree in science, and you're also learning what it's like to be a leader and officer in the Air Force. So it's a very competitive school. I believe 4,000 people attend there around one time. 1,000 each year get in.
Super competitive get in.
Yes, sir. So the reason I chose the school is, I'll be honest, when I was younger, I said I was never going to join the military. It was the last thing I saw my mom, my sister, my dad do it. I hated the idea of the military. But I knew I wanted to travel, see the world, and now the academy gave me a chance to get a free education, have a full-time job afterwards, and they were going to pay me to go travel the world. That one thing I wanted to do. So it just seemed like a great option for me personally.
Interesting. And how did the academy come about, like that specific school? Like, why that? Why didn't you join, like, anything else? Why didn't you do Army, Marines, or why didn't you do another school? Why that one?
So like I said, I'm going to talk about my sister a lot. I have truly followed my sister just everywhere in life. When I was my senior year in high school, I didn't know what I was going to do after I graduated. No idea. My sister comes back from college. She went to the academy as well. And she said, "Hey, Levi, stop being a dumbass. You're going to go here." Didn't question, like, "Yes, ma'am, sister, cool." And I applied. Usually if you just apply, you don't get in. I made it in. I'm like, oh, snap, I guess I got to go. So I attended. But that was all because I was just following my sister. She's been a great role model for me. I figured.
What's sister's name? I think they need to know sister's name, right, so you don't have to say sister all the time.
My sister, Imana.
Yeah. Imana. So Imana put you – so – a lot of this has to do with her. She was a big influence in you.
She was. So my mom and my dad, they were always out late for work and stuff because they came from humble beginnings and they wanted to make sure we never went there. So they were always out working, grinding, making sure that we would have a life that they wish they could have had when they were younger. So a lot of time when they were out working, it was my sister who had to stay home and watch me. And sometimes she let the power go to her head, but for the most time she would take care of me, make sure I had everything I needed. So growing up, I've always looked up to my sister.
What's the age difference between you two?
4 years. She's 4 years older than me.
4 years.
Sir.
Cool. Man, that's tight, man. I remember you talking to me about it, but I didn't know she was the reason that you went to that school. So I learned something new right there. Where were you born? Talk about your history. Like, man, tell us about Levi Knox. Tell me who you are, how old you are, where were you born? Give me a quick summary. It doesn't even have to be quick. Go into detail. Tell me who you are. Where were you born? Talk to us about Levi.
So I was actually born in Panama. So like I said, both my family was in the military. So while we were overseas in Panama, of course, they had me, but the hospital on base got shut down. So we actually had to go drive all the way to Panama City in this rundown, nasty little hospital, and that's where I got born. So
crazy how he remembers exactly what they had to do on his birth.
Yep. So it's like I was there, but no. So for my first 2 years, I lived in Panama, and actually, that's one of my dreams. I want to go back to where I was born. I want the hospital's still there and everything, so I do want to see Panama one time while I still got the chance.
Before we change the subject, hold on, next thought. I told you should watch a movie. Have you watched it?
Hands of Stone.
Have you watched it?
I haven't, no.
Shit. All right. The reason why is in Panama, and I keep telling them you need to watch it. Plus, it's a great movie. All right, keep going, Levi. So what's the next part? 2 years there in Panama, and then what?
But then for most of my childhood, I moved around a lot, so I never stayed in the same place for more than like 3 years. So since I never really got to go outside or like spend as much time with the community and stuff, family became like my biggest thing. So it was always just me, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and that was always it. Extended family that didn't reach out to me as much as I got older, so it was always just those four.
You four.
That was the core of just like everything I was. So that's why I went and my parents were huge on discipline. That's why as I grow up, even now I'm 23 and I still say things like yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. It's just those morals and stuff, values they
instilled in you
when I was younger. Yep. So everything I do now is just always very family related.
Mm-hmm. And you have a beautiful family. I had a chance. I met Mama Knox a few times, but I got to meet dad and sister when we were in Louisiana. and we had a nice little dinner together. And I totally see why. I told him that day too. I'm like, dude, I know why you're the way you are. They're very well carried, also very well educated. There's just their mannerism, everything about them. You are exactly a product of your beautiful family, man. And I think that's probably a big reason why you are a beautiful person, man. Good stuff, Levi.
Thank you.
Next thing, Levi. So just get a little something about Levi. Levi's very, as you see, he's very humble, and he likes to lay low and just do his thing. So knowing that we have to talk about him for this podcast, he's kind of like, why am I the center of attention? Because he hates being the center of attention. And so he's actually coming out completely out of his shell for doing this. How did you feel when I asked you? And you can be completely honest, Levi. You don't have to tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what you want to say. When I told you I wanted you to be on the podcast, what was your thought?
The first thing I did was start thinking of excuses of why I couldn't do it. I was thinking like, oh, I can't do that day. I gotta go to the dentist, or I can't do that day. I'll be out of town.
Hey, he really did do that shit too.
But you kept moving the date, and then eventually you just caught me. I'm like, all right, shit. He's coach. The gym's done a lot for me. I think the least I can do is talk to myself for however long. So, but no, I hated the thought of it. And then I realized like since that's one of my challenges, is getting opening up and talking. I'm like, all right, well, here's a good chance for me to get over that. Mm-hmm. But no, I did not want to do this. I hated every thought of it. Like yesterday night, I called my girlfriend Elena, and I was just flipping out over like I don't know what to talk about. There's nothing to talk about.
All right, that's my job. I'll figure it out. Another thing that he did that got him out of his shell a little bit, I believe. He actually teaches the Saturday morning classes. Another thing that he hated and didn't want to do, but it felt bad about doing. So now that you've been doing it, a few months? Mm-hmm. What's your experience with teaching for those few months?
I love teaching boxing. I think one thing that really helped me grow into that and why it's so much better than just sitting here talking about myself is when I talk about boxing or something I'm really passionate about, that becomes easy. It's like, here, try this. I'm able to take my own experience, this thing I love, and just pass it on to someone else. And that's as easy as it gets. That's not even a job or working or anything. That's just me enjoying my Saturday morning, taking the sport I love and just sharing it with someone else. And
it shows. When you love it, it shows versus when you're doing it because you're being paid. Mm-hmm. Because so when I offered it to you about you doing it, I know you were hesitant about it. Did you see yourself enjoying it this much at that time than now? Or what did you think? What was the fear in your head when I offered it to you? What was it that you were like, no, I don't know. What was it?
So my biggest thing, for everyone who knows Coach Jose, he's a very loud, outgoing, energetic person. I was afraid that I was never going to live up to him. If I was going to teach a class, they'd be expecting Coach Jose vibes, and Levi couldn't give those same vibes, couldn't offer the same thing. So that was my biggest fear. But the more I started teaching, the more I got comfortable with it, the more it became I got to introduce my own style. Mm-hmm. And the more people that started coming to my class, I realized, well, they were coming for Coach Levi at this point now. Like they saw what I had to offer, and that showed it to me that I did have something to offer. So that just became more comfortable. I think that's why I just really grew to love it.
Hey, I like that. Man, look at Mr. Levi said, I don't know what I'm going to say, but you're bringing up all these hot topics right here like that. That right there is a nugget right there, man. The way you said it, I try to explain that to people sometimes where I use me as an example because I'm the one that's like doing it. So I'm teaching you what I do. But the fact that you being yourself is what makes people love you. And that's why they're going to your classes. And instead of, because some people don't like loud people. Like I'm dead serious. Just be like, damn, Jose, you're too damn loud. So they'll go do some other class like David. David's a lot quieter. So I'm glad that you saw that, you realized it, and you soaked it in, and now you're enjoying it. Thank you for doing that, by the way, too, Levi. Yeah. I know Levi, he's doing a whole lot of things for me that he does not want to do, and I keep making him do it. Another thing I really wanted to talk about, and this is great because I was gone from my wife for 12 days when I went to Louisiana, which is the longest I've ever been gone from them. You are never with your family, with your mom, with your dad, with your sister, with your girlfriend. How the hell do you do it, Levi? How do you do it? First, let's talk about E, because E, his girlfriend, long. You know what? I'm gonna let you talk about her. Talk about where she is, who she is, where you meet. Give us a little lowdown about her.
So Elena, my girlfriend, about 2.5 years now. We actually met while we were at the academy. When we first met, she absolutely hated me. I was the person who was in charge of telling her when to do her push-ups. So every time she saw me, she knew she had to work out, and she could not stand me. A few years later, we're out. She's wearing something nice. I think she looks cute. I invite her out to the movies. One thing leads to another. We start dating. So we had about a year together.
Oh, no. You got to tell us the story you told us at the cabin. He's giving us a PG version.
Okay.
He's giving us a PG version. What did you say, Levi, at the cabin? You said you were attracted to her.
So, very much attracted to her.
I'm bringing Levi out of this show right now. He's like, Coach, why are you making me say this right now?
Okay. So, what was happening at the time is I was getting out there, talking to different people. And at the moment, I was laying in bed with her roommate. Her roommate she opened her door, sees me with the roommate. I'm like, I was drawing like, oh, snap, all right. So I get out of bed with a roommate and I start talking to her, start flirting, literally falling over her. And yeah. Long story short, she forgave me for being in bed with her roommate, and now here we are.
Yep. And in bed, he was just laying in bed.
Nothing like that.
Just to clear it out, so people aren't like, "Whoa, he was in bed." No, he was just laying there. He was not doing the nasty. So, you start dating, and she's still in Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm. She's about to graduate, so she'll be in. Where's she moving to? She's moving to
Oh,
Wisconsin.
shit.
Yeah, no, she's moving to Wisconsin here in a bit.
Oh shit, yeah, close. And so. How do you do it? Give us a lowdown of how you maintain this healthy long distance relationship. You and Kelly. I don't know how y'all did it.
It was definitely a challenge at first. One of the biggest things that we realized was a challenge is whenever you don't have time to make it up in the if you get in a fight or there's a misunderstanding, you have to settle it right then and there. You can't wait. Because now I'm going to bed, Matt. You're going to bed, Matt. We don't get to talk to each other again until we're back on the same. Until we both have free time, which is just weird because we both have our own schedules. So one of the only ways that really made that work is just having that open communication. It honestly took us a solid year to figure out how to just be open with each other and talk. But it's definitely been rough. But I think what's really saved us is her biggest thing was she loves having date nights. I hate date nights, but she loves having date nights. So one thing we just started doing is once every few weeks, I'll dress up from the top up, wear like a suit jacket, sweatpants, because I'm not doing all of it. But from the top up, we'll cook dinner, we'll sit down, and we'll have a Skype date night. Then we'll go see a movie together. Really simple stuff like that. But just really just find different ways to make each other happy.
So why do you hate the date nights? Like, what about them what is it that you hate? The whole dressing up part, or what?
I feel silly looking at a phone, just wearing a suit and tie and then sweatpants underneath. It feels silly to me, and also it's just between waking up, going to work, going to the gym, and getting home, the last thing I want to do is dress up. But for her, in my own apartment, and be like, all right, cool, let's do this. But for Elena, she sees it more as she had to go to work, go to school, work out, and now here's a chance for me to talk to that person I really want to, and I'm going to dress up and look nice for them. Well, if that's her mindset, then I feel okay. The least I can do is match that as well. Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. That you are willing to do something like that, and if it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure it takes her longer to get ready.
It takes her a lot. Yep.
She probably gets makeup and everything.
Yep. She gets all the way dressed up. I'm just top up.
Oh, see, no room to complain.
Yep. Nah, I have it easy in comparison.
So how do you do it with the family? Well, how do you keep up and have and maintain a strong relationship with like mom, sister, dad while you're at distance?
So the family was a bit tougher for me just because my sister just had a nephew. Just had a baby, so I haven't been able to see my nephew as much as I would have liked to. But as far as everything else goes, I call my family mom almost every other day, and my dad every day on the weekend, and then my sister every other day or so, just because like I said, growing up, we already built those bonds as a family. So no matter the distance, as long as I have a phone on me or some way to communicate with you, you know I will at some point.
Yeah, and I need to share the concussion story real quick.
Oh, okay.
I need to share this story. So, and this is a while ago. Levi ended up getting a concussion during boxing training, which he kept a secret from coach, from everyone. The way I found out, I got a missed call from Mama Knox, and she called me a few times, and she just sounded very worried and that Levi was in the hospital and all this. And now I'm worried because I'm thinking the worst. On the way he's in the hospital, we're like, what happened to this guy? So Mama Knox wanted me to go check on his apartment. I'm on my way to his apartment. And I'm blowing Levi up, by the way. I called this guy I don't know how many times. He doesn't answer, so I'm on the way to his apartment because I guess we already checked the hospital. He wasn't there. So I'm driving over there. As I'm driving over there, this freaking guy calls me, and he was like, I'm sleeping. I was sleeping. I was like, man, you're giving your mom a heart attack. She's across the country, and you can't even check in with moms. And I guess you told your sister, right?
Yep.
And then sister told mom, and then mom, being a mom, was like, yo, where's my baby at? What's going on? His mom, by the way, is the sweetest. Just her smile, the way she's always happy. She's Levi's like, she's not always happy. She's always happy with us for sure. When she came in. So now on to the next subject. So we talked about your long distance. We talked about your Air Force Academy. We talked about your family. We talked about humble Levi. Where does boxing come in the story? How did you get involved with boxing?
So I started boxing. When I went to the academy, my whole goal was to play soccer in college. I tried out for the team, and I didn't make it. So for my first year as a freshman, I just didn't know who I was because I was.
Hold on, you didn't make something?
I didn't make the soccer team.
Oh my goodness,
Yep.
That's the first thing Levi did. Failed at something.
No.
All right, so you tried out, didn't make the soccer, and then what happened?
So my whole family, one of our things was just we're the athletic family. One of us always a sport. My sister did track, basketball, rugby. Everyone was always proud of her because, you know, she was the one doing basketball. I was a weird kid doing soccer. But we always had a sport. That was our thing. So without soccer, I didn't really know who I was, what I was doing, or anything. So my whole freshman year, I just felt like I had lost my purpose. I didn't know. So I was feeling lost. And so I was in my room moping to myself one day. And my two friends, they just said, hey, we're about to go see a movie. You want to come? Like, sure, why not? Turned out the movie we went to go see was Creed. I know Coach hates that movie.
Yeah, I do.
But for me, I thought that was I never watched the boxing movie. I thought that was the coolest movie. It looked awesome. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I got nothing else to do. I'm gonna go try out for the boxing team. I got my ass beat the first day and the second. For a week straight, I just got my ass beat every day of tryout. But the coach let me join the team. Like, you know what? I have never seen someone get their ass beat that much and come back the next day. So why don't you just come here and train with us? I'm like, awesome. That was the worst 3 months of my life, just the initial training. It was horrible. But my biggest thing now is I felt like if I walked away, that was now two things I had failed at, soccer and now boxing. So just my competitive, my stubbornness, I kept going until I felt like I had something to offer that team.
Mm. And how long did you do it for? Tell us about the Air Force. Like, how long were you boxing at the Air Force?
So I boxed for 3 years at the Air Force Academy. Sophomore year, I had my first fight. Oh, my bad. No, my junior. So after my first year, I didn't get any fights because I wasn't good. But my junior year, he started my coach started taking me to fights. And that's actually where I went to my first national tournament and ended up winning as well. So that was just a huge thing for me because I felt like I had come back from this feeling so low. I don't think I explained this well enough, but when I didn't make the soccer team, I really did feel like I just failed everyone. Soccer was that thing I was known for in my hometown. is what my family knew me for, my friends. I was the kid who played soccer. Everyone thought like, hey, he's so good, he's going to play soccer in college. That was everyone's expectations for me.
Oh, so I didn't know that either. So soccer was your bread and butter. Like everyone, you were known for soccer.
So when I was told everyone I was going to tryouts, they were always saying like, oh, I can't wait to come see your first game. Everyone expected me to have made the team.
Oh,
and at the time I was talking like I was going to. Well, of course I was going to make the team. I'm Levi. I play soccer. That's my thing. And I didn't. So I just had let not myself down, but everyone who had believed in me up to that point. So in a way, boxing was my redemption. I have found something that not only did I love, something I could work out, but something that after enough training, I actually was talented at. This was going to be how I now prove to people, hey, I didn't just give up after I failed that one time. This is my comeback right here.
And that's one hell of a comeback because you did a sport you didn't know, and then you become a national champion in a sport you didn't know. What was that national tournament like? Talk about it.
So the way it was broken down is first we had to go to a regional tournament, win that. That was 3 fights. So for the regional tournament, I won the first 2 and lost the final fight. And I was the only one on my team to lose that final fight. So I was the only one on my team without leaving without a regional title. Once again, I felt with a failure. The reason I got into nationals, though, is they let the top 3 people in each weight from each region go anyway. So even though I lost regionals, I could still have a chance to compete in nationals. In my mind, if I couldn't even win regionals, there was no way I was going to win nationals. But I went anyways. I still trained my team because at that time I felt like, you know what? I had already put the work in. I'm not going to cheat myself, my coach, and my teammates by just giving up before I even actually competed. So then I went to nationals, and once again, we had to win 4 times this time. So I competed 4 times, won all 4 fights. And what
were they like? Easy? Hard?
No. So the first 2 fights, because I didn't win regionals, I was actually in the last bracket. So I had to compete against the top 2 brackets for my first round fights. I beat them both by skin my teeth in split decisions. But after beating those 2, in my own mind, I'm like, I just beat the number 2 people projected to win this tournament. I can go all the way. So after that, I don't know if it was a mentality thing, a skill thing, but I just made up in my mind right there I wasn't going to lose. I had everything it take to win, and I was going to leave with that. I was going to go home with that belt.
And you got it.
I did.
And then the next year, you continue boxing?
I did.
And what happened? Talk about it the following year.
So that's the one that hurt.
This was junior year or sophomore year?
So the one I just won was junior year. This is my senior year.
Okay, senior year.
So senior year, I had become after winning nationals, coach had made me team captain. We had a news crew come out here to do an article on me. The dean of our school had invited me over to his house to talk about my accomplishments. At that point, people now knew that, hey, this random skinny little kid just won nationals. He could be someone. So everyone was treating me as such. What that did, that was horrible for me. Not because it made me cocky or anything, but because of the amount of pressure I let myself feel from that. So when we started training for nationals this next year, I won all the fights I needed to. I went undefeated that season. I made my way to qualifying for nationals again. But this time, my mindset was completely different. Last time in nationals, when I said I wanted to win because I wanted to win a national title. That's what I wanted. This time going in, it was I need to win because everyone expects it from me again. I'm supposed to be leading a team, my coach, my teammates, my school. I'm representing so much, I can't afford to lose. So for about the next 2 months leading up to that, I didn't sleep. I was waking up at 3 a.m. to go to the gym. I would go from the gym to school, leave from school then to go to practice. And then I didn't eat because I was cutting weight. I was doing everything in my mind to make sure I was completely prepared to win. But the truth is I just burned myself out and ended up losing in the first round of that national tournament.
So your first fight, you lost right away?
Yep. Split decision, lost.
And why did you say this hurt so much? You said right before you mentioned this story, this one. Why did this one hurt so much? Because other people you feel you let down, or why?
I felt like, this is going to sound wrong, but when I said I felt like I deserved it, I didn't expect anyone to give me the towel. But it's just with all the work I had put in, with all the people that supported me, I thought I had did everything right to win that. Because, you know, in the movies, in the stories, you hear, well, you see people training, eating right. You put in the work, you're going to win. That's just what you're told. Hard work triumphs, conquers all. Well, in my mind, I had put in the hard work. So the fact that I left without that belt made me think, well, if it wasn't the amount of work, then maybe I just wasn't good enough. Maybe I just didn't deserve that. I wasn't worthy of the amount of praise I was getting, the amount of faith people had in me. I clearly didn't deserve that, or else I would have walked away with that tournament.
Wow, that's deep, man. Shit. Woo. Levi about to make me get teary-eyed over here. Nah. So you did a third national tournament. We'll talk about that later on. So this is his first two. From there, boxing. You stopped boxing because at the Air Force because you got what happened? So right after that,
that last tournament, in my mind, that last tournament was my last chance to box. I never thought I was going to box again, which was another reason it hurt me so much because I feel like I was walking away on a losing note. But after that, I graduated. I went to Thailand, the Philippines, and then I moved back to the States, and the first place they had me go was California.
He makes it sound like he just went around the corner. I went to Thailand and the Philippines. What was that like? What was Thailand and the Philippines like?
So after we graduate, they give us 60 days to get our lives together. Like, all right, you're an adult, get out of here, go figure out how to be an adult. Me and my friends, we used that chance to go travel the world. It's why I joined the military. I wanted to go see the world. But more importantly, I needed to get away. Like I said, losing nationals had really messed with me mentally. I was back at that same mindset I was when I had failed to make the soccer team the first time. I was like, how could I have let these people down? Once again, that one thing I had was now taken away from me. I just needed to get away. So we decided, fuck it, we didn't need to be in the States right now. Let's go travel. So we bought some plane tickets, booked some hotels, and we just got on a flight. And for the next month or so, we just did not want to be back in the States. We didn't want to be bothered with anyone. We turned our phones off, and we just chilled.
What?
It was a good time.
Yeah, that sounds dope. So for a month, no electronics, no nothing. It was just enjoying the world.
It was. Of course, like I said, as Coach said, my mom's craziest. So every time, I say about maybe once a week, I turn my phone on.
You just check in.
Yep, let them know.
And during this time, you were still in a relationship then.
Yeah, that was a rough time. That's back when I was more new to being in a serious relationship. No relationship I had been in prior to that had ever lasted more than 3 months. So
it was a rough sketch, rocky time, season.
It was because I'll be honest, I was taking that time to be selfish. I felt like I needed that time for me. I don't regret taking that time, but
you probably made the relationship a lot stronger after all that.
We did afterwards.
After, not during, obviously.
No,
but
during was horrible, but afterwards we definitely came a lot stronger. After that, I'm about to go on deployment soon. Like, we're not worried about any amount of distance or anything because we realize if we could survive that,
you could do anything.
Exactly.
Yep. So you get back in the States, you're in California, and then what happened?
So my mom flies out here to help me move into my new apartment. And while we're at this Thai restaurant, I noticed that some random guy is shadow boxing in the corner.
Speaking of, we'll tell you who this random guy is. We finally figured it out. But keep going. It's interesting.
Like, I'm not talking like just like little throwing, but like he's like straight up shadow boxing, waiting for his food. And I point my mom like, hey, that guy's shadow boxing. And she's like, well, why don't you go talk to him? Well, me being shy Levi, I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't know this man. So my mom stands up, walks over and says, hey, excuse me, my son wants to talk to you about boxing. I didn't. So we get in a conversation. He starts telling me about this amazing gym he just loves so much called Jose Morales. He's like, it's right down the street, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool, we'll go there. We'll check it out someday. Like, no, my mom said, no, we're going now. Because she knew how much I missed boxing and how it hurt me when I left. Like, no, you're going now. I'm like, okay, cool. So we drive and we could drive to this random gym. And the first thing that happens is we see Amy, our new national champ, doing mitts with Coach Jose in the ring while Coach David was on the bag. We walk in, we introduce ourselves, and the first thing they do, they all stop. Coach Jose and Amy get out of the ring, introduce themselves. You just, from the very first step, they just had a very welcoming, nice, open vibe. And actually, one of the things that makes my mom laugh every time is while she's talking, the first thing she says is like, "This is my son Levi. He's a national champ." I don't know if Coach Jose remembers that, but he actually,
I do remember.
He rolled his eyes, said, "Oh, okay, that's cool," and he just completely ignored, did not mention it once. Pretty much saying like, "I don't care. That means nothing to me." And he just shot that down real fast. And my mom still brings that up to that day. But
She does?
Yep.
What did you say?
She's like, yeah, they did not care about you at all. Like, yeah, this is why I don't brag. People don't care. All
right, let me, for the record, let me tell you why I do that. Because I do that often. People come in and they mention I train with so-and-so or I'm this, I'm that. And they tell me all these great things about themselves. But then their actions and what they do does not match with them training with De La Hoya or them training at the Mayweather gym for a month or whatever it is that they said about themselves. So when people typically say something about themselves or I just don't care, I block it off and I judge you off the way you act, the way you carry, the way you train, the way how coachable you are, which you did exactly that. I mean, and maybe I should have paid attention to that because I actually do remember your mom saying that. I do remember. But I blocked it off and I forgot about it. And I assumed you just didn't have no fights. Wow. Now that I think about it, I should have paid attention to that a little bit more. So, and then what? So we talked and you loved it and you started coming, right?
Mm-hmm. So I ended up starting to do the classes and, funny enough, I actually only did Coach David classes. I didn't sign up for Coach Nacho or Coach Jose because they talked to me too much. And I really didn't like that. I wanted to come in, do my 45-minute class, and sneak out before anyone noticed I was there. And Coach David just let me do that. He would come here. He would make me do my exercises. I put my stuff on. I would say bye to everyone. And I would leave.
Exactly what I was talking about earlier. So some people don't like loud people. This is one of the guys that didn't like my classes because I talked to him so much. So what about me talking to you? Or Nacho talking about you, did you dislike, or what was it? You made you uncomfortable?
It's not that I disliked it. It's just,
you wanted to come work out and leave, or? Yeah,
it takes me time. It takes me time to open up to people. I was in a new place by myself. This is my first time ever living on my own. When I was at the academy for 4 years, I had a roommate. Before that, of course, I'd lived with my parents. So I was moving into my own place for the first time. And I was just trying to figure myself out. I wasn't ready for new people yet. Mm-hmm. So to come into this gym, I did enjoy just how kind and nice everyone was, but it was just a bit too much for me to handle at the time. So I just wanted to get in, get out. Okay.
And how long were you in that with David? What made you get out of that shell? How did that break? Because obviously you don't just do that no more.
I was there for about 3 months. Coach told me to move up. It was time for me to move up in the Warrior program, the Blood Axe. I tested for that, passed it, and then he said, "All right, Levi, you've been here for about 3 months." Oh, no, I think it was 6. My bad. It's about 6 months because he yelled at me for taking so long. You're a part of the Warrior program now. What you got to start doing is you need to start talking to people. Like when you get in, say hi. When you leave, say bye. Like these people are really friendly. Just open up. I'm sure they'll have a conversation.
Hold on. You have to share the David fight story.
I don't. All right.
You have to share this story. I mean, he shared it if you guys were here when we were celebrating them from Nationals. But you look at his face. He's like, "Dude, you really going to make me share this story?" Yes, Levi, you have to share this story. It's a great story. So this was before the whole Warrior, before all that. David was going to have a fight. We invite everyone in the gym. Levi goes, well, he thinks he goes, all right, go ahead, Levi. Share the story.
So this is about me being here for 3 months. They invite me to, I haven't done anything social. I literally go home, watch Netflix, pass out. That's my daily routine. So like, hey, this weekend we're having, Coach David's having a fight. We'd love to see you there. I'm like, this is my chance to be social. I get excited. I'm like, awesome. I give them my $60. They give me a ticket. If someone says something's going to be on the weekend, I just assumed it was going to be on Saturday. So Saturday comes, I get all dressed up. I got a button-up shirt, some nice khakis on. I put cologne on, even because I don't know what was going to happen. I thought I was going to walk away from that place with friends or whatever. I don't know. I get to the hotel, and it is completely empty. So I'm like, all right, clearly in the wrong place. So I walk around the hotel for about 20 minutes looking for some sign that there's a fight going to be there. I talk to the people. He's like, oh, no, there's no fight. I look at the ticket. The fight was Friday night, not Saturday. I was embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. So I think it was like around 9 o'clock. I just went home and went straight to bed. Didn't shower, didn't watch TV, didn't eat, didn't do anything. I just went straight to bed. The next day on Monday, I was too embarrassed to tell anyone. So I just sat in the back and listened to see kind of like how the fight went. And I heard someone say like, "Oh yeah, Coach David killed it." I'm like, awesome. I know what I need to know. Walk up to Coach D like, "Hey, Coach D, that fight you had was amazing. You killed it out there." He's like, "Hey, thanks for coming out." I'm like, "Yep." I walked away. And until recently, no one had ever known I didn't show up to that fight. This whole time, Coach David thought I was at that fight.
And he did not go. Man, I was dying when I found that out. I did not know. That shit still makes me laugh. You played it off very good.
I did.
You started looking out what you should say. Good job, man. You're an actor too, huh? So then you get into the Warrior program. Before you start that, what was that like when I told you had a test for blood axe and you had to do all? What was going through your mind? Did you think about it? What was? Tell me about that.
To be honest, at first I thought it was teased. Like, really, I gotta work over the basics again. I gotta learn these things. Like, I already know how to do a jab. I know a 1-2 combo, stuff like that. So I called my sister again because we were just talking. And while we were talking, that came up actually. And like I said, my sister always there to humble me. In the nicest sisterly way possible, she said, "Well, if you didn't need the basics, you would have won nationals." Like, all right, that was harsh, but she was right. She was completely right. And like, okay, so I came back, changed my mentality, and just changed how I looked at it. I'm like, all right, you're right. I'm going to take the basics seriously. So after again that little reality check, I no longer had a problem with testing. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to prove that one, I deserve to be a boxer. I'm going to prove that I'm ready to level up. I'm going to prove I'm ready for the next stage of competition, and I look at the Warrior program as a way for me to test that and show that to people and to prove it to myself as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. No.
Learned something new.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about Levi. Hey, and you're not the only one that feels that way. I mean, so many people feel that way where they're like, why do I have to do this? I've had people that I tell you the story when it first came up. So when I first did this is 2019. This is not that old. This is 2 years. And I already had people like Little Angel. I already had fights. Angel, I think, had 5 fights. And this came up, and Angel was like, so do I just get to go straight to Impaler? Like, or do I have to start from the bottom? I'm like, nope. You have to start from the bottom. I'm going to act like everyone's brand new. And you should have seen Angel's face. Angel's face was like, what do you mean? He thought I was going to just give him a get-out-of-jail-free card. And the reason why I bring that up is I want you guys, if you can't do that one little step from the beginning and focus on the basics, then how seriously are you going to take me? And how seriously are you going to take the program? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And the people that believe in it and believe in me will do it, and the ones that don't won't. And it's good. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. And you did it. So now you're at the Impaler level, couple levels up. How were those levels to you? How was Attila? Attila took forever too. I don't know why it took so long. Rode your ass about that, Impaler. What were those two like, and what took you so long? And talk to me about those two.
Honestly, ever since I became an Attila and Impaler, I really have just grown to love the whole Warrior program, because now when it first started, it felt like I was individually trying to raise up my level. But recently we changed the way we were training. You started the Warrior training program where we all train together. And that all started when I became an Attila and an Impaler. So what I love for it now is like it made it seem more team oriented. Like the Warriors were a team. We represented Jose Morales boxing. And it just made it more fun it made it more enjoyable to train together than it's just, all right, I have to go home and study all this stuff and try to raise up by myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. All right. And now let's talk about your last national, which is your third one. So this is now you're going into, and this is your first one with us here in California, the first one without the military. What were you nervous? The fact that you were doing a new one without your old coach, without the military, did that make a difference or anything? How did you feel?
This was the first one where I felt like I was by myself, and that doesn't mean anything against you or Amy, but what I mean by that, when we competed as a military, we compete as a team. So even if I lost nationals, there was a way our team would win nationals because it was a point system based on how many times each person won. They get so many points, and they would total that. So we would still end up winning as a team. Now if I lost, I just lost. That was it. It was for the first time. It was just me. And
did you like that or dislike that?
I liked it. Mostly because one, I felt like I didn't have to hold the weight of like a team on my shoulders anymore, or just feel like if I lost, I would let anyone besides myself down. But it also just made me reflect, because now it was something about having a whole team there with you. You know, there's 12 other guys going through the same thing you're going through mentally, there to support you. And in a way, even though they're not actually in the ring with you, they're fighting there with you. And something about that mentality just kind of made it easier than going to my first ever elite level tournament. This is my first elite fight. And
explain the difference. I don't think people are not going to know what it. So the previous two nationals, what were they like? What does elite mean to the people that don't know what elite means?
So for my first two national tournament, it was everyone there who was fighting was basically had my same story. They started boxing at the beginning of their college experience. So maybe at most they had 4 years of experience. That was it. And as many fights they didn't get in 4 years. At the elite level, you have no idea what the other person, what they know, how many fights. I remember talking to people just while I was there. I think the least amount of fights I heard someone have outside of myself and Amy was 30 fights. Well, over 3 years or however many years of boxing, I only had, at the time, 13 fights total. These people who had been boxing for however many long already had 30 fights, and that was just a least amount. There were people there with 60 fights and so on. That idea was now just like, it started creeping into my mind. Like,
did that mess with you then?
A lot. It really did. One of my biggest thoughts were just, do I belong here?
So hearing all that probably started putting doubt in your head.
It did. Because it felt like everyone else who was there, they had put in the time and the work.
A life.
Yes. I felt like, in comparison, boxing seemed more like a side job, like
a hobby, like for fun, just shits and giggles.
And which is, to me, is so much more than that. But just listening to these people is like, no, their lives were boxing. Boxing is something I get the opportunity, is something I love and passionate about, but something I get the opportunity to do when I'm not either at work or at school. And it was just a whole different level. And now it's just like, well, shit, do I have what it takes to be at this elite level?
Okay. Keep going.
So,
this is your first elite tournament now. And what happened? Keep telling us about nationals.
So we get into the first fight, and you can ask Coach Jose, but apparently it's very clear on my face. I feel like I feel like I don't belong here anymore. The more I see people warm up, the more I just see the type of competition going on. No, I haven't seen their skills or anything. I just know, like, I'm the least experienced person here, at least in my own mind. How am I ever going to compete with these people? So
I remember this day very clearly. What did I tell you when we were warming up? I knew Levi the very first fight, and those that followed the nationals, Levi's first fight was amazing. And before he got into the ring, Levi's warm up was stiff, nervous, and this was exactly what was going through his head. What did I tell you? Do you remember what I told you?
I don't remember most from that first night.
The very first one, I just remember I looked at you and said, "What's wrong, Levi?"
All right.
I said, "What?" And I'm like, and then I started giving you a little pep talk about, man, you deserve to be here, and because I could tell that you were looking at everyone, because it's intimidating as fuck. I know it is. You're explain the room where you're at where we're warming up.
It's literally just basically a basketball court amount of space of just you and everyone else competing that night. So you see, you can look across the room and see your own competition warming up. We're already in our uniform, so you know who's in the red and the blue corner. So you can see everyone else in the opposite uniform warming up, and it's not hard to figure out who you're going to fight. So for my first warm-up, which is honestly where I messed up, I spent more time watching what the other guy was doing than actually making sure I was warm myself.
Yeah.
But no, just
And
yeah.
yeah. All right. Hey, these are all learning things. That's what I like. So then you have your first fight. Tell us about the first night. You did amazing. Talk about it. So,
my biggest thing was no matter how afraid I am going into the ring, something just flips when you hear the bell go off for the first ring. Like I think what it is just at that point you're like, well, I'm here anyways. There's nothing else that can be done, so I might as well just go all out. And I don't know what it was, but just everything that I remember training for, all the people I sparred, getting ready for that point, the hours I spent in the gym, it just all hit me at once. The calm, I just got extremely calm, and everything else, it felt like I didn't have to think about it. It just felt natural for me. Mm-hmm. And I remember the end of the third round ending, and me thinking, I can't believe it was over already. I thought we were just warming up. Like I thought we were just getting ready to go. But no, the first fight, by the time that bell rang for those next 3 rounds, everything just felt like how it was supposed to. And
victorious, you had, I think it was 2 standing 8 counts you gave him in the first fight?
Mm-hmm.
Or 3? Was it 2? Or 3,
it was 2.
And I had messages from people telling me, wow, Levi looked amazing. Had one guy from Colorado, that's Daryl's friend from Colorado that was there. He mentioned you to Daryl without knowing Daryl knew you, mm-hmm. saying this is the first guy in the whole national so far, because it was the first night of the first day of competition that I seen use a whole ring, move both directions and throwing punches. He looked amazing, talked you up like crazy. And then he found out, hey, I know that guy. He trains at my gym. Daryl said he felt amazing and very proud to say that he knew you and that he knew you from the gym. And just it's me. See, I already know what you could do. So I was not shocked that you did that. I mean, Levi fucking fucks people up all day in the gym. So then the next day, the next fight comes. We fight. Was it the very next day or the?
It was 2 days.
Yeah,
it was 2 days later.
Yeah, 2 days later he fights again. Tell us about that fight, that day, and everything.
So that day I felt like. So as I won that first fight, I'm like, all right, I'm ready mentally. Like now, I now know I belong here. By the time that second day had come, for some reason, I forgot all about that already. I was back to being nervous. Do I belong here? That doubt had somehow already creeped back into my mind. It's like the longer I was there, the more I had to question, like, crap, well, was that first fight was just a fluke? Really my biggest thing was the failure I felt after that national tournament a few years ago was now the thing keeping me up and putting down my mind now. Mm-hmm. Like, what will be happen? Like, because now it's not just if I lose, what does that say about our gym? What does that say about the work I put in? What does it say about the people who helped me get here? Mm-hmm. So now I'm back to doubting myself. I can't afford to lose because if I do, I let them down as well as myself. And we get into the ring for that first fight. And the first thing this guy does, I'll never forget, he starts playing air guitar. And I don't know, but if someone starts playing air guitar, in my mind, I'm like, they must know something I don't. Because I'm never going to get into a ring and, like, I don't know, start, like, break dancing or whatever. It's just, fuck, he must know something. So that already caught me off guard. And that had been my mind for the rest of the fight.
So the air guitar got you, huh?
I didn't know what to think of that. I've never been in a fight where someone just straight up does. I get that, like, the mental thing, and I'm embarrassed to admit it. It completely worked. Whatever his goal was, it completely worked. I feel like that threw me off for the rest of the fight.
Yes, I agree. It did throw you off. Hey, but I told Amy and I told you this when we were. I don't remember if it was before the tournament or after the tournament, but sometime along in the Louisiana trip, I told you. No one, going to nationals at that level, is very rare for people to just win it on their first time. It's not something that just happened. Most of them go second, third, fourth, fifth time they finally win it, or because you learn from them. You learn from fucking air guitar shit going on. You learn from the warm up, the nerves. Like, it's fucking nerve wracking, and the type of competition you're with. So, yeah, man, just take it in and learn it and just keep it going. But I knew the air guitar fucked with you.
I think the other thing was the other ref addressed him by his first name at one point.
He knew him already.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. It just, once again, something that shouldn't have messed with me, but it did. Like, well, he's been here before. No wonder he's like so relaxed and confident. I've never even fought at this level before, and the first time I do is going to be at this big national tournament. It was a lot that I let a lot get into my head that day.
No, yep. He did. He did have a lot experience. You know, one thing that drives me nuts about it, and I blame myself for this. What did we do the night before you won and the night you lost? What was the difference in the 2 nights?
The meditating.
Yeah, and I kill myself for that. I kill myself for it because the night before, the day he won, I do this meditation, this little, like, you start feeling, and it always helped me when I competed. The one he won, we literally called everything step by step when we were doing the meditation. Like, we literally exactly what it went down, exactly how he won, exactly what happened. The night he lost, the night before the one he fought when he lost, we didn't do that. And in my head, this is me. I'm like, fuck, I could have fixed all that confidence shit, all that bullshit that was going through him. I could have fixed it. You know why, too? I remember watching the guys fight, and he always played the air guitar. Motherfucker always played it. The night before when he won, he played it too. So, I don't know. It's just in my head, I'm like, fuck, I could have fixed that. And that's just one of the things me as a coach, I fucked up on, and I want to take the blame for because I feel like I could have helped you with that. And I didn't catch it beforehand, and that's part of my process of me learning too. So, besides you learning on your own, you know, coach is right there learning with you. And so after that, now you're out, you're just sitting there. What was it like being there and not competing for 4, 5, 6 days more?
I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt. Of course, Amy there was competing, so I don't want to take any away from her. She did amazing. She went and she deserved she deserved that national title. She won outstanding female boxer. Amy competed in the way I wish I did, and as happy as I am for her to win that, every day I was there stung because I'm like, why wasn't that me as well? I didn't want to take her place. I wanted to be up there with her and competing with her. So it hurt. That's honestly the only way to explain it. It's just every night I would go to sleep thinking I wish I was up there with her.
Man, I believe that you should be there and should have been there. Do you, after the tournament, did you look back and like, man, there's no way in hell I shouldn't have done that?
So,
or do you still leave the tournament with the same doubt? Like, yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, maybe, you know what, I do suck. Why the fuck am I here? What was your mindset leaving? Like, did you leave knowing, you know what, I should have won this? Or, damn, I really do suck. Why did I come? What was your mindset leaving?
My mindset, so everything changed. Amy was nice enough to record the fight or have the fight that I lost, and I couldn't force myself to watch it. It was just too soon, and I was like, I failed. I can't watch this. I don't want to see how bad I suck. And then one day Amy was like, you really need to watch this fight. And looking at myself, looking at my skill versus his skill, he wasn't a better boxer than me. The people you had me spar leading up to just prepare for that outclassed him in such a way. And Coach David, Jay Sean, everyone, the people down at the Bay, and it's just, I feel like if I would have went in with the same mentality I went in that first fight, that same confidence I had when I went in sparring, it would have been a completely different tournament.
Yep. I agree. 100%. 100% agree. You should share the story about the Georgia kid. Georgia kid or Alabama?
He was from Georgia.
Georgia, right? Yeah, man. This is an interesting story, and this has happened at nationals. Go ahead.
So after I lost, this kid comes up to Coach Jose. He said, "Hey, my coach isn't here. Could you wrap my hands for me?" Like, yeah. So Coach Jose, just being nice and friendly, just started having conversation with the kid before he got in the fight. Like, "Hey, are you nervous?" And the kid was like, "Hell no." I was like, "Why not?" Like, because I'm gonna win. All right, confidence. I wish I had that. Cool. He's like, where are you from? He's like, from Georgia. And like, you have a lot of good competition. Like, oh no, everyone from Georgia sucks, man. There's no good competition. Like, ain't you from Georgia? It's like, oh yeah, but I'm good though. And it's just for 10 minutes. I don't know how old this kid was. He could have been like 15, 16.
Yeah, 15. I think he said he was 16.
Okay, but I got so mad, not because of how confident he was, but I got mad at myself because I was honestly jealous of a 16-year-old kid at a boxing tournament because he had that confidence I wish I would have had coming into this tournament. I honestly didn't watch his fight. I don't know how good this kid was, but the way he carried himself was the way I felt like I needed to have carried myself if I really wanted to walk away with that national title.
Yeah,
It made me so mad.
Yeah, that kid was super confident. He's like, everyone in Georgia sucks except me, of course. So what's your goals now with boxing? Now that you experience all that, what's the future? Are you done with boxing? What's the future for the Cupcake?
My thing with boxing was always, so I remember when I first got here, you asked me my goal. I said I wanted to compete in a Golden Glove. I still want to do that. Even though I already compete in national, I still want to compete in a Golden Glove. That's always been my thing. But also, I don't know how long I can continue to box. Just between my commitment to the military, I have to serve at least 8 years there. I don't know when I'm done with it, if I'll be able to still be able to box, what my body will be like. So right now, with the opportunity I have, just with training here at this gym, the competition and everything, I want to get as much boxing as I can while I still can. I just want to throw myself into it wholeheartedly because I know that I might not always have this later. Life will happen, a family, maybe one day will come, my career and everything. I want to make sure
you leave here
without a single regret.
Yep, I like that. You gave it all you had while you could. Your next deployment is in England. Talk about your next deployment. You're leaving soon. England. What's your plans when you're out there?
So yeah, I'll be heading out to England this June 6th actually, to go on my very first deployment, and I'm excited. This is, like I said earlier, this is the reason I joined the military. Unfortunately, there's a whole work aspect I still gotta do, but besides it, this is really what it's been about for me. If I could, I would just sit back and enjoy England the whole time. Unfortunately, I can't. But I'm very excited because I knew I would never get the chance to just travel the world if I didn't at least do something like this. So I'm very excited for it.
All right. And you forgot to mention one thing. I was hoping you would mention this. I said, you go to England, you got to do one thing. Cupcake already forgot about it.
I got to go see a football game.
I told him, you got to watch a soccer game. If you're in England, you got to watch a soccer game. Based off what he said, I doubt that's going to be on his to-do list, but I hope he goes to one soccer game. I'm going to live through you. And speaking of living through you, I wanted to tell you thank you, Levi, at least on here, not only for everything you do here, but for allowing me to live through nationals through you. I told Amy this, and I'm going to tell you the same thing because you guys both did it. That's something I always wish I was able to do, and I didn't do it, and I came close to doing it with just living it through you. So thank you for all your hard work and allowing me to live through you, for real.
Sir.
Thank you. Another thing I wanted to bring up to you, and I think we should share the story because everyone was like, why the fuck do you call this guy Cupcake? Who is Cupcake? Why do you call him Cupcake? Hold on. Does it bother you that I call you Cupcake?
Not at all. No, everyone here seems to make everyone smile. My family laughs at it. The other gyms seem to laugh at it too. Whenever I'm sparring, they just hear Cupcake do this, Cupcake do that. And my girlfriend loves it the most. So, yeah, I guess we'll keep Cupcake going.
The way Cupcake came, I want Levi to share the story of Cupcake.
All right.
Instead of me. Levi's like, why are you making me talk? All right, Levi, tell us how Cupcake originally started. Because, honestly, I was inside when it happened. So I wasn't even outside when the whole car incident happened. That was Ricky.
All right. So originally started with, I never heard the term cupcaking, but apparently it's just
here in Northern California.
Yes. When you're being all lovey-dovey with your girlfriend.
Yep. Lover-dovey with your girlfriend.
So I was done with my work. The original one was I was done with my workout. Did some good training, and my girlfriend FaceTimed me while I was in the ring stretching. And so I was stretching, telling my girlfriend, and someone heard me say, I love you too, under my breath. So they all started laughing at me. So I got my stuff out. I got myself real fast. and I went to my car to keep my conversation with her going. Whenever I get in my car, it automatically goes over to Bluetooth. So now they can hear both sides of the story, and my windows were down. So I didn't realize they had followed me outside. So I'm having this deep, mushy conversation like, no, babe, I love you. I can't wait to see you again. Oh, my goodness, we're going to have such a good time. And I don't know, I just hear Ricky's annoying voice just start laughing as hard as he could. I turn around, like the whole crew of them, like 5 people are just looking at them, laughing, listening to me be like this. And this, once again, is before I start opening up more. So haven't said 2 words to any of them, but yet now they just hear me go on and on with my girlfriend. So I panic. I put my car in drive, and I just speed out of the parking lot super fast. I didn't handle it well. Ran over the curve getting out of there and everything. Just didn't want to be there.
And that's where Cupcake originated from. And then what made it even better is the fact that this guy's always sneaking out, grabbing a cupcake and eating cupcakes. Every chance I get, this guy's hiding, eating cupcakes. So I'm like, you know what? Fucking Cupcake. It fits you perfect. So that's where it came from. Fucking Cupcake. This podcast will be out on a Monday. This will be released on the 17th of May. Do you have any Monday ritual or anything you do on Mondays, or how do you start your week, or what can you recommend to people to get going on a Monday?
So my biggest thing is I'm a very firm believer of you speak things into existence, and it's all about mindset. So whenever I wake up on Monday, I like to start off with just meditating, reflecting. I'm religious, so I'll pray, or just like pray for a good week, or I'll pray for my family, all that. But what I really do is I just sit down before I get up, before I think about work, school, or anything, and I'll just like list all the positive things that happened to me last week and all the positive things I want to happen this week. Because I feel like it's very easy to get lost up in the negative stuff. My car broke down a little while ago. I just failed a test at school. Stuff like that is very easy to like that now just define my week, instead of the fact that I got to see my family. I had a great time at the gym. Everything at work's going well. So I make it a purpose every Monday. I do this every morning, but it starts with Monday too. It's just I list out all the positive things that's happened to me so far.
Man, I really, really, really like that, because people do get stuck with the negative. And you know who you should share that with when next time you see her, please?
Yeah.
Cookie Monster. Please share that exact thing you just talked about. Share it with her, because I have this conversation with her a lot. The next episode we got coming on next week, the following week, is going to be about mothers, about mom. What does a mom mean to you and all this? Since I have Cupcake here with me right now, Cupcake, what is mom to you? What is a mom to you? What does a mother mean to you? What is the definition of a mom for you?
So I love my dad, but to me, a mom is that one person, regardless of how stupid you were, no matter what you did, no matter how much she yelled at you, she's the one that's going to be in your corner. Mm-hmm. She's the one I call. She's the one who I just rely on. I don't say it enough, but at times the mother is the one who can give you strength in those situations where you really need it.
Amen. Because the dad's a little bit more hard loving, huh?
Dad tells me to shut up and get to work. So.
All right. So now I'm going to end it with a little random question. But the random question I'm going to ask you is, what's your favorite place to eat out here? And Cupcake and Neat, this guy had, we went sparring, had Diego ask for a milkshake and 30 nuggets. Or were the 30 nuggets for him or for you?
Nuggets were for him. I just wanted the milkshake.
Okay. So what's your favorite place to eat out here?
Ooh. Dang, that is a hard one. I love sushi. So there's this place by my apartment that does 50% off sushi. So I just go there. What is it called?
Damn, you don't even know the name of the place.
I keep wanting to say PK Sushi, but it's not PK. It's Kuma Sushi. I love Kuma Sushi.
Oh, what's the roll that you get there?
The ninja roll. Every time. It's just a deep fried roll. I get like 3 of them because they're always half off. And I get that on every other Friday. So it's the one thing I can always look forward to.
On Friday. That's your you time.
Yep. No one calls. I don't got to talk to anyone. I just get that sushi, go home, and it's just perfect. Perfect day. I love that place.
All right. So before we end this podcast, is there anything you want to talk, say, or bring up, or anything?
I just wanted to say thank you again for letting me be a part of this, not just this podcast, but just a part of the gym. It's been awesome. I didn't think when I moved here, just because, like I said, being in the military, you move around a lot. So I usually don't take the time to get to know my community, because what's the point? I'll be gone in a few years anyways. But I feel like I really have been invited into a family here. So once again, I just want to say thank you, not just to you, but everyone here at the gym who for really welcoming me in.
We do love you, Levi, for real. And I'll take the time to say it when you leave, because the time is going to come when you're going to have to leave. Just as the appointment, everything, we're going to for sure miss you. Just make sure when you're in California, you stop by, and you will for always have a special part in our hearts here.
Thank you.
All right. And for real, we may have to do a date night with us. You don't got to dress up, though. But all right, you guys, thank you guys all for listening. If you have any feedback, leave us a review, send us a message, send Levi a message. How do people stay in touch with Levi? They want to stay in touch with Levi. Is there any way they can stay in touch with you?
My Instagram at Levi Knox. That's about it. Snapchat, same thing.
Cool.
Call or text me.
There you go. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great week, and we out.